Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Let's Paint, and today we've got something kind of special. We'll start off with one of the obvious things. Look at that. We don't have a gray miniature for you today. We got a white one. I know many of you might be pleased about that. What do you know? I know how to prime in something that's not gray. But that's not the only new little thing we got going on today. Show this little thing off. My little paint pot. I just got this. Just painted it up. It is not the best work I've done. But it's okay. It's okay. The blue came out alright. All the graininess you might see was from the varnish to get that transfer onto there. And all the red there is kind of layered in a way. It's supposed to be a pool of blood, but it doesn't look like it wants to be like that. But either way, this is our new little paint pot. Whereas I was having the black one earlier, and we're going to need to put some water in it. So let's get some water in it. But yeah, our new little paint pot. This is the first time that we're using it. So let's get that going. Let me get my little Java coffee here. My Monster Java. Because everybody needs a little kick. So the question that you might be asking, who the hell are the ghosts of Baal? You know, you see it on the thumbnail. Never heard of them. The hell is that? Well, something that I forgot to put on the thumbnail that I either have rectified by the time you're seeing this or just didn't give a shit is the fact that they are a homebrew. That's right, we're working on another homebrew today. And you will get over it. Now these guys, where do they come from then if they're a homebrew? Well, Ghosts of Baal. So you get one guess as to who their Primarch is. That's right. It's Horus. And for the people who don't understand sarcasm, it's not Horus. So we're working with a Blood Angel's successor. Now these are not just Blood Angel successors. These are actually successors of all of all the chapters of Blood. So my idea was these guys get founded in the year 999 M41. So basically the same year that the devastation of Baal happens. Leviathan, High Fleet Leviathan, the Tyranids, arrive, wreck shit, mess up Baal. If anybody has read it, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not read it, dude, you're missing out on a great story. So High Fleet Leviathan comes. They absolutely wreck Baal, almost destroy the entire Sanguinary line. But at the last minute, are driven out by the Blood Angels themselves and a late arrival from the Ultramarines with none other than Gulliman. That's right, Gulliman himself shows up. He brings Primaris Marines to replenish their ranks and to usher in the new Indominus era. And then he also grants regency to Lord Dante, Chapter Master Dante. He makes him basically the regent of Imperial Nihilus, I want to say. Is that part of the Imperium? Nihilus? Either way, that whole thing happens. But a couple of chapters of Blood die. The Knights of Blood, who apparently get no love. As far as I can see, they get no love, and that drives me bonkers because they're awesome. And the Flesh Tearers are always considered to be like the most brutal and most hardcore. They're the chapter that is dying because they have more of their brothers that fall to the black rage than any other. Well, the Knights of Blood seem to be just a little bit more hardcore, so I don't exactly understand where all the hype for the Flesh Tearers were really coming from. Now, this is coming from a Flesh Tearer fan. I adore the Flesh Tearers. They're they're unstoppable. They're insane. I absolutely love them. Gabriel Seth is my boy. Anybody who knows me knows this. But the Knights of Blood hold a special place in my heart. So what we're doing here today, basically, is a little tribute to them in a way. We're changing up the paint pattern, if you will, a little bit. So anybody who knows what the Knights of Blood paint pattern or paint scheme is, they wear silver metal armor, and they wear red helmets. They wear red shoulders, no colorful trim or anything like that. Very basic. And we're basically going to echo that, except for we're not doing the silver. But we're also adding red into the legs. This is coming from my recent experiments with paint schemes with such chapters as the Proto-Marines. Now, if you're wondering who the hell are the Proto-Marines, well, go back to my channel and watch the damn Proto-Marine series that I did. Another homebrew, but for a different project. This is just straight up homebrew right here for your everyday 40K. Not to give away too much to say. Hey. All right, we're done. But either way, so the Ghosts of Baal are made up of various brothers of various chapters. So you will have Blood Angels in there who just feel like they're falling away from their chapter. You'll have some Flesh Tearers. You'll even have Flesh Eaters. Anybody who's really looking to join any chapter that was devastated to the point of almost no return. All are welcome, as long as you are sanguinary kin. So that's what they do, is they band together and they create the Ghosts of Baal. And their favorite prey to hunt, of course, are going to be Tyranids, even though I fucking hate Tyranids. There's a reason I don't like Tyranids. And that reason is because I don't like Tyranids. No, it's just, I felt like once you've... reading Devastation of Baal, I felt like once you've read a Tyranid book, you've read them all. And I guess you could really say the same for any of those books. Once you've read some orcs, yeah, kind of get it. So if you've read Hell's Reach, yeah, that's it. If you've read anything that has demons in it, yep, that's it. You really could use that excuse toward any of them. I read the book Apocalypse, which is centering on a Primaris Marine in a sea of firstborns. It's actually pretty interesting stuff. Seeing how not well received he is. But he's a Imperial Fist, and that was also my first time reading about Imperial Fists. He's also working with White Scars. That was my first time reading with them, and the same with the Raven Guard. And no offense to the Raven Guard, but damn, not the most interesting group to read about. I will totally say that. I was not blown away by them. They were cool, do not get me wrong. But all in all, in the grand scheme of things, I was like, alright, whatever. Emo edgy boys, gotcha. So, the bad guys in that book, at least, are word bearers. And I'll tell you what, I do love word bearers, just like most of you. But good lord, I was absolutely sick of the word bearers by the time of that book ended. I was sick of them before the book was finished, honestly. I know it's their shtick, but I was so over their zealous nature. I was like, I get it. You love chaos. You love all the gods and blah, blah, blah. But good lord, man. I felt like it was pretty one-dimensional. And I know if I want something with more dimensions to it, and not to say that all the characters were one-dimensional, it was actually some of the most interesting stuff actually came from the word bearers. You know, there's this overly zealous one who's thinking he's the most devoted and he's going to take over, and then the dude who's leading them, who's not the most devout, schools him. And he shows him, there's more to it than just being, just being a walking hard-on for chaos. But good lord, was I over it. I was so done with them by the time that book was done. I was so done with them. And I guess just back to what I was originally saying, though, is once you've read one, it feels like you've read them all. And I haven't really read anything else with word bearers in it because I can only handle so much of that kind of fanaticism. It was a bit much. It really, really was. So my worry is that the fact that if I read all this stuff, is that going to be it? You know what? We'll break that black out one more time because I almost forgot my own paint scheme because we're working with a different pauldron here. So we're going to have one of these, right? But we're also going to have this, the studded pauldron. So we're doing a little bit of an old school here on the Primaris. I'm assuming is an old school. But for these guys, they definitely need a black trim. Ooh, excuse me. And we shouldn't be nasally today. We took some allergy pills first thing in the morning. It's 5:30 in the morning. And we're also recording for the second time this week. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to post about I'm going to run the series of the Death Company first before we get to this. Just to let that have its shine. I'm going to leave that white interior. Be a cool little undertone. But yeah, man. it's been chill. I was talking to my wife yesterday, and I was like, it might have been Monday. I don't know what day anymore, honestly. But all I know is I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I had a lot of fun recording, even though I had, essentially I had bummed myself out during one of those episodes talking about personal things. I really wasn't sure if I should have even put any of it out there, but, I'd rather just let it flow, let it be organic enough, not worry about it. Ugh. So, it is what it is. But let's go ahead and get this Baal red out. I thought long and hard about these helmets, man. You guys know I like to do my red helmet with white face, but I want these eyes to be white. So I was thinking about just doing all red helmet. And I think we are just going to do that. It's been a tough call because this paint scheme is new. Kind of like with our Proto Marines, it's in a proto phase. We can totally tweak it on another mini if we need to. If we really think it's necessary. And who's to say that any of the stuff has to match anyway? Different chapters develop their own different symbolages, color schemes for their command structure and other kinds of things like that. And we're not dealing with a commander here. We're not dealing with a sergeant, a lieutenant, or a captain, or anything like that. We are simply dealing with a Marine. And it is another minor kit bash project, meaning I have the body of an intercessor, but we have the weaponry and the arms of... Get in there. Sorry, I'm trying to focus. All right, so we have the arms and weaponry of an assault intercessor. Damn it, I touched the eye. Might be okay. All right, we're not dealing with new brushes right now either. That's why I'm trying to be so careful. I'm still using my same old Haggard brushes. That is my fault for going with that. Really, really is. I think we're going to be okay there. Yeah. All right. Let that sit right there so it can hang and dry. The reason we haven't gotten out any of the new brushes yet is because I can still more or less function with these. So we're not worried about pulling out new brushes for fine tips for much of anything right at the moment. This Polger might be a little tricky for us. Because what we're going to try to do is leave all of these studs white. And it's tricky on top of white because the contrast paint that we're using is basically just staining the pauldron. It's just staining over that white, and the more layers you put on, the darker that one's going to get. And I would like some consistency here, because that stuff gets a little hard. The blue is very hard to work with. I've noticed. This red doesn't seem to be all that difficult. I say that as I'm doing this and really trying not to jinx myself here. But I guess now, as any good random time, to start asking you guys, how the hell are you? I always ask, and yet you guys never answer. Makes me sad. But we're not here to get sad. We're here to relax. We're here to get happy. That's why we paint, right? That's actually something that I had seen before that trend died out. That looks cool. I like that. The little trend that I had seen before it died out was these miniature painters on Instagram. They would post, what's supposed to be like the voices in your head just nonstop, like all your anxiety and whatnot. And then as soon as they go to paint, everything quiets as they're painting. And I'm like, I get it, and that's funny. It's your hobby, and it brings you peace and all that fun shit. And I'm just not sure if that really works like that for me. And that's not to say that it doesn't all the time. I don't know. My head is still racing a mile a minute, even while I'm painting. And there are times when it just gets damn near impossible to focus on what I'm doing. Sometimes life is it's just a little too loud to be muted out by some painting. Which I hate because, it's hobbies, as far as I can understand, are where it's supposed to be your quiet time, your little private escape from life and stresses, and it just doesn't seem to be doing that at the moment. I guess there are times when my mind just goes blank and, whatever was in my head just becomes static. But as far as I've noticed, my brain is still going. It's still firing on all pistons. It's very loud in there. Thinking of anything, really. Going from focusing on what I'm doing to, maybe I shouldn't have said that today, or, man, I really wish I had said this today, or stressing about tomorrow, because who the hell needs to do that? Well, nobody. You don't need to stress about what's not coming, or what's coming eventually, but it doesn't matter because you don't know what it's going to be like. So why the hell are you stressing about it? And we tell ourselves that, we tell other people that, and it doesn't matter. We're still going to stress, We tell ourselves and we tell each other not to worry, and yet we still worry. Practice makes perfect, though, right? It's not something you can just click on and off. Sometimes it does happen that way, so I've seen. You know, if I'm just fed up with something, or if I see someone else. It really helps if I see someone else freaking out about whatever it is. Um, that can keep me calm, because then I'm really seeing the anxiety firsthand, and seeing just how ridiculous it is. And it's not to say that they are being ridiculous necessarily. It's like seeing a projection of my own BS, and I can actually go, wow, you need to shut up and relax, all right? One thing I've noticed when it comes to like me and my wife, if I'm snapping in a bad mood, she's usually on the opposite end. She's usually chilling, you know, being the cool, calm, and collected one. And I come back down. I try. Sometimes you just get overstimulated, man. And it takes a while to come back from that. Um, you lose sight of what's important, and it's usually the thing that is important is not the work. It's the family. It's the journey. Right? Right. I don't know if any of that was on camera. How I was just all up there painting like that, but that's okay. We got 26 minutes on the clock, 27 in a second. So I think we're going to leave things there. We can do a quick recap of what you see here. Let me close this and shake it up again. So, obviously, for this color scheme, we've done a red helmet. We're leaving those eyes white, you know, because I want them to be ghostly. We got a red backpack. I'm leaving the white in the center there like I usually do. You know, we got red pauldrons, but not just red pauldrons. We got red pauldrons with black trim. So what are we going to do for the body? Well, I guess you're just going to have to chill with me next week and figure that out. Until then, I will see you guys on the next episode. Please stay safe. And why not? I guess I'll throw a good prayer to the Void Father and have him guide your brushes. And I'll see you guys next time.